Good afternoon, Whisperers, and welcome to another fabulous episode of Whispers in a Bottle Grown Talk Cocktail Fridays. My name is Sonya. I'm a lifestyle counselor, fashion psychologist, naturopathic practitioner. It is so good, Whisperers, to be back in our safe zone right here in the Whisperers Lounge. I have to tell you, I'm excited to birth another fabulous discussion with you all. I hope you've had a great week and now you're ready to, you know, decompress and get into today's discussion as well. Don't forget that Podbean has done something fabulous for us. They have placed a live chat box into each and every one of our episodes so you can drop your questions, your comments, or if you need me to reiterate something, please feel free to just drop it in the chat box and let me know. Or if you want me to even elaborate on something, just let me know that as well. But only thing we ask is that you give each other dignity and grace and respect each other's opinion because that is what makes for such a rich topic and discussion and a great conversation to be had. And I'm so glad you've chosen to pour into yourself with this discussion today and hope you grabbed your mocktail. But guess what? If you didn't, make sure you subscribe to our newsletter, The Whispers Exchange. And there's a live link that is always in the description box of the episode, or you can follow us over on uh, Instagram at whispers in a bottle underscore podcast. Once again, that's whispers in a bottle underscore podcast. So let's get into this deep and meaningful topic and really push back all the curtains and open up the curtains on the emotional ledger, what you're depositing daily. So that's our topic for today. And you know that I love to start all of our discussions off with a clear meaning or a definition. So this isn't any different. We're going to get the meaning or the definition of daily. So daily means done, produced, or occurring every day or every weekday. Wow. Okay, let's get that again. Daily. Done, produced, or occurring every day or every weekday. And daily, as you know, is all the time. So, Whisperers, we're continuing with the theme of emotional legacy, the currency that shapes our future. That is our theme for this season, season 11, that we're in currently. So today, this one is the mirror you didn't know you needed. And we're going to examine how your daily emotional actions, your deposits and withdrawals are shaping your relationships, your inner peace, your career trajectory, and ultimately your legacy. So we're talking in totality. And so when you hear me say that, you hear that I'm bringing things in full circle for us today. So I think a great place for us to start is understanding the emotional ledger and how this foundation and how this is our foundation. So our or your emotional ledger is the sum total of your intentions, reactions, communications, even the communication patterns that we have, habits, and even unspoken behaviors. So, like a financial account, okay? And you know, I like to give us this good example so we can really make it full circle, have a full, rich bounty in what we're speaking about. So, like a financial account, it tells a story of your emotional wealth, or it can tell the story of the lack thereof. Now, so I want you to think every time that you lash out instead of reflect, or avoid instead of address, or maybe you are a person that numbs instead of heals. So keep that in mind. You're making a withdrawal. Where, on the other hand, when you choose empathy over judgment, communication with clarity, honor your boundaries, you're making a powerful deposit into your emotional bank. Now, remember last season, we kind of touched on that discussion, but this season, I really wanted to bring this full circle. I really wanted to expand and expound on this topic so we can really get clarity on it and we can be using the master keys that we're given correctly. So here's the issue. Many of you have inherited emotional spending habits from your lineage. Now, that's where this discussion is taking us today. And some of you were raised by people who were emotionally bankrupt, but performed strengths, where others inherited sarcasm, perfectionism, uh, people pleasing, or guilt as a love language. Now, that's where some of the lineage may have come from. And these aren't personality traits, these are generational cycles. Generational cycles. And today we're going to shift all of this. So you heard what we're speaking about. We're seeing where this is. We're giving a full bird's eye view on this discussion. So let's lean into generational influence and why you react the way that you do. Because sometimes I think when we have discussions like this, many may be afraid to really kind of open up the whole treasure trove and open up the chest or pull the curtains all the way back. But I tell you all the time that I'm never afraid to do that. I'm never afraid to really come in and speak on a topic that may be difficult for us to have, but in turn, we have to be willing to do this. So we're going to lean into the generational influences. So, whisperers, most people never question the emotional economy they were born into. And if your grandparents taught your parents that vulnerability is weakness, and your parents taught you that survival is love, what do you think you've been emotionally budgeting for? Wow. Fear based decisions. That is what you have been budgeting for. Fear based decisions, emotional scarcity, defensive communication styles. But the problem isn't just what you feel, though. It's that you're responding from outdated emotional software. So, you know that we many times have updates that we have to do to our phones, to our computers, and different things and different elements that have to be updated. But imagine if you never updated your computer or you never updated your phone. Would your phone really be working at the best capacity that it possibly could be? Of course not. But it's the same in the same retrospective way from what has been passed down or what we're not uploading, or even that we have outdated emotional software that we're working from. So many of you are navigating executive roles, even parenthood, marriages, relationships, and you're still drawing emotional blueprints from environments that didn't allow you to fully express or maybe process or evolve emotionally. But I have some good news for you. Just like financial literacy, emotional literacy can be learned and unlearned, and as well as rebuilt. Now, that should bring some comfort. And that should actually even get you kind of excited to really look into this space and place a little bit deeper. See, I think this is a great space to give you a couple of master keys too. And these are real tools that allow you to open up the corridors, the hallways, the secret compartments of your heart and your mind. And I tell you, each week I give out master keys because they're imperative to those areas. But I also let you know that those master keys allow you to close out the inner and outer noise. Now, these four master keys that I'll help you to will help you to stop operating from emotional deficit and start living in alignment. So when we grasp these master keys, that's the power of them. And this is what they allow us to really trickle into. Each step, each moment has clarity, and they delve into a different space and place that we, remember, I said the secret compartments of our heart and our mind, because those are the areas that only YOU know about. And so when we use the keys effectively, we're able to pivot and shift. So let's get into our first master key. Our first master key is emotional pattern recognition. Now, whisperers, you cannot shift what you won't name. It's funny. It seems like we touched on that slightly last week. We've touched on this even a bit last season as well. But this means that you have to track your emotional highs as well as your emotional lows. I like to have my clients to first start tracking these habits for about 1 or 2 weeks. And let me tell you something, you'll be so shocked, and you'll even be like, it'll blow you away when you start tracking certain patterns or certain things that you do, or maybe the way that you speak into others, or how they perceive how you're speaking into them. And when you're making clear notation of it and being cognizant of certain behaviors and certain traits, it's really just mind-boggling, and it shifts and opens your mind even a little further. So documenting what triggers them, what's confront a comfort to them or to you, and what made you then shut down, or what made you even provoke at some certain point or stage. And I also like to have my clients ask themselves very powerful questions in this space and place. And I always tell you that I love to come from a very reflective place, that introspective place. So, is this a reaction, or is this a pattern? See, so we have to be clear on that. But if you've never sat in that space and place and asked yourself a clear question like that, or had yourself even remotely think in that space, and really being cognizant of these feelings and patterns, and most times the irritation or trigger or burnout isn't about the now, it's about the then, meaning something unresolved, something inherited or never expressed. Sometimes it's just that I got to push it down. Push it down. Remember, we even talked about, and I always tell you all, sometimes I say let it go, and I give you the example of Elsa, and she had to hold it back, right? But she said push it down, don't feel it. And sometimes as people, we are guilty of that very thing, of pushing it down. Don't feel it. Because if I feel it, I may have to address it, or I have to face it. But see, that is when we really lean into that first master key of emotional pattern recognition. But see, with that, it also allows us to shift and look into the second master key. Audit your emotional spending. Ooh. Now, you have to start when we are auditing anything. We have got to start by asking ourselves daily questions. Questions like, did I communicate clearly or expect mind reading? Now, I tell everyone, I am not a great mind reader. I can do a lot of things, but mind reading is not one that I have really mastered. And no one has. The second is, did I set a boundary, or did I please to maintain the peace? Meaning, am I pleasing people just to get it to squash down? Oh, I don't like confrontation, so I'm just not going to say anything. Or I'm going to be passive aggressive and act like it didn't bother me, but then I'm going to take it out later on by in my car driving all fast or cutting people off. Or, that's when we see a lot of passive aggressive moves and when people in cars. They use their cars as weapons. But see, you have to ask these questions daily to see where this is moving and how is it moving in you. And the other one that you need to ask is this: did I speak to myself with respect? Ooh, did I speak to myself with respect? Now, a lot of times I hear people say, well, I'm just so stupid. Oh, I'm just not talented. They speak negativity over themselves. They're disconnected in such a powerful way that it's harmful to their very psyche and very being. Are you guilty of that? Now, remember I had taught and I had spoke about harnessing the power of self-talk. And sometimes when we're in the space and place of audit your emotional spending, we have to audit the way that we speak over ourselves. Because if we are speaking disrespectfully to ourselves, calling ourselves stupid, calling ourselves non intelligent, or I'm this, I'm that, negative connotations that you attach to yourself, that's not showing love, dignity, nor respect to yourself. See, Whispers, these daily emotional actions are either building your emotional wealth or draining your reserves. And remember, we're supposed to be putting it in our reserves. We're not supposed to just have it in that secondary account. We want it as a reserve. It's an overflow. So if it's dwindling your reserve, now it's literally going to drain your main account. You are your biggest investor. You have to be willing to see your value so you can act accordingly. You have to see your value. You have to see it, you have to feel it, you have to taste it, you have to know it. And sometimes for us to be able to do this, we have to audit our emotional spending. Those expenditures that go out that are not uplifting, those expenditures that are going out and they're not even putting a morsel back into your account. You have to shift and focus and realign again. But with that being said, this takes us right into our third master key. And this master key is going to sound a little odd for some of you. Now, some of you it may not, but some it may sound odd too. And it's none other than that you have to reparent your emotional responses. Yes. I know I pause before you respond, or even I pause just in saying that, correct? Because your reactions were and may have been shaped by what you saw, not what you chose. Now, let me say that again. Your reactions may have been shaped by what you saw, but not what you chose. And yes, Whisperers, this is a truth. This is a fact, even. And even studies have shown that many times in people's responses and reactions are learned responses and reactions from the things that they've seen, things that they were taught, or how they have neglected things of that emotional intelligence of building upon certain foundations. So, give you a little example of how your responses and thoughts may be influenced by how and what you saw, okay? Because I love to teach by example. So let me just tell you this, and this is true. I'm going to tell you something that's very true, and it's about yours truly, your host. So for years, my little person, who is now 13, she did not like avocados. She didn't like them. Oh no. But why? Why did she like them as a little person? You all might be like, well, it's probably the texture, it's the this, it's the that. No, that's not it. It was because her mommy, me, Sonya Lorray, didn't like them, didn't like the tech, did nothing about it. I didn't even like guacamole. I'm Latin American and I don't even like guacamole. And because for me, I don't like it because it's mushy, it's kind of, ugh, I was like, oh my goodness. But one day, a good friend of mine who is vegan, she actually said to me, Son, you don't like them because of the texture, but I want you to try this avocado and I'm going to fix it for you. And I was like, oh, great. Like in my back of my mind, I was like, oh, please, let's say you did, but you didn't. But she went on and fixed it. And I said, all right, here we go. And I took a deep breath and I tried it out. I tasted it. And let me tell you all, it was delicious. And she told me, and I mean, like, it was just beyond words. Like, I couldn't even believe it. So she told me what the trick was and what it was. She told me that mine just remember that just before they get like totally ripe, like that soft texture. She said, don't buy them fully ripened. Just as they're about to turn, she says, to be ripe, that's when you should eat them because they're firmer. But she said, on top of it, you need to also season them with a little salt, a little pepper, or maybe you like a little parsley flakes, which I love parsley. So she had put parsley on mine. She put a little salt and pepper, and just, it was delicious. And I have to say that I love them. And so I came home and I went to my little person. At the time, she was little. And I said to her, oh, I said, I have something for us to try. And she says, oh, no, I don't like them. I don't like it. And I said, well, you know what? Let's just try it together. And so we did. So I was like, oh, look. And I took a bite of it and then she took a bite. Well, let me just tell you, her expression and her little face, oh, this is delicious. Oh, mommy, this is so delicious. And I said, it is delicious. But you see, Whispers, that I had shaped her experience and that emotional ledger for her. Not that she did this, but I did. And so many of you are carrying these deficits that have been trickled down to you or told that, oh no, we don't do that. How many people do you know? And that we've heard discussions, and I know I heard discussions as a psychologist and working in this space and place of lifestyle counseling and all, that, oh no, we don't do counseling. We don't do therapy. It's because it's a mindset and a texture that has been tossed down and it's been inherited. So now that you're grown, Whisperers, you get to re-educate your nervous system with healthier defaults. So just like my child now has a healthier approach to eating, we say we don't like something, we don't say that until we fully taste it or we fully try it. And then we can say we don't like it. So her palate has broadened. So much like that, your nervous system has to be re-educated, retaught. You get to use phrases like, I am safe to feel the way I feel, and this matters because. Now notice that. Or this emotion doesn't require immediate action, nor does it require of me to make a response. You're re-educating, rewiring, and reteaching. And I have the right to pause and process this matter. Now, see, those shifts are powerful. There are dynamic shifts that we make in our day-to-day life. There are dynamic shifts that we make for our emotional ledger and how we are starting to reprogram, rebuild, and even exchange with others as well as ourselves. See, Whisperers, reparenting teaches your brain and body to trust peace over panic. Let me say that again. Reparenting teaches your brain and your body to trust peace over panic. Now, if you want to mark this at the 25 marker, 25.23 marker, that's perfect, because maybe you need to come back and put that on repeat so you can hear it and it can really resonate and vibrate at the decimal you need to really receive it. This also moves us into our fourth and final master key. So the fourth master key is curate legacy-based relationships. Curate legacy-based relationships. Stop entertaining proximity over purpose. So this means you have to prioritize your goals, prioritize your values and what truly matters to you over simply being around people or situations that are convenient, familiar, regardless of whether they align with your purpose or not. So it means that we have to be cognizant in this space. And every connection you engage in is a reflection of what you believe you deserve. So this discussion today actually brings up other introspective questions that you have to ask yourself in this space and places. And some of the questions that I'm placing in here, I want you to come back if you need to and listen to this again and write them down, but also really think upon the response that you want to give in them. Because sometimes we hear things and we are so quick to just respond or to react. Now, see, that is where we are really auditing the way that we're doing and rewiring that we're not quick on that response. So that means you have to ask, does this person contribute or deplete my emotional balance? Now, when we're curating legacy-based relationships, these are questions that we need to ask, and we cannot be afraid to ask ourselves. Does the person contribute or deplete my emotional balance? Do you feel fatigued after being with this person? Are you feeling drained? Do you feel that they have just taken advantage of your energy, or you've overspent your intelligence, your emotional intelligence, your intellectual properties with this person? So in turn, then it leads us to ask the next question. Can I be my whole self here without performance? Now, do you know what that means? Many times, some feel that they have to always be on when they're with their friends. They always have to be the funny or the jovial or the life of the party, or the maybe the one of the sense, the one who always brings the sense and value into the conversation, or the one who is just almost the said therapist of the relationship. But is this a relationship if you are constantly performing or constantly in a role? Is it a healthy relationship? This is why we're looking at the emotional ledger, what you're depositing daily, or maybe what you're withdrawing daily. See, that's how powerful this is, Whisperers. Your emotional ledger thrives when you're in a space and place that challenge you to grow, not just simply survive. Now, let's build forward, not just heal backwards. See, whisperers, I need you to understand and know healing isn't about going backwards to fix everything. It's about moving forward with emotional intention. So, emotional intention means that we have an aim, purpose, and direction when we are moving forward. When we are developing and we're using those stepping stones as into stepping into our greatness or moving forward into this mindset of not allowing ourselves to still be dragged down by the things that are not beneficial for us. See, the legacy you're building isn't in your title, your money, or your image. It's in how safe people feel in your presence, especially yourself. Especially YOU. So, whisperers, if today's conversation is hitting home and you're tired of being emotionally overdrafted in your own life, let's work together one on one. I specialize in helping high achievers, professionals like you rewrite these emotional blueprints and align your legacy with intentional actions. Whether it's through private counseling, my executive reset sessions, or emotional wellness intensives, you don't have to unpack this alone, ever. And sometimes because we are trying to unpack such things and they are a little heavier, we need clarity. We need someone to be actually that beacon. And I always tell you about that light. That we have the lighthouse that is really kind of our trademark here on Whispers in a Bottle because it casts that light out that you can see and it guides you into deeper conversations, getting you ashore safely. And it's the same thing that we may need as people. So book your private emotional legacy strategy session. And there's always a link in the description box, or you can always come over to Instagram at whispers in a bottle _podcasts and DM me. And I will respond with you. So you see how powerful our discussions are. And I want to share like a couple of things before I get ready to wrap up certain things on the broadcast as well, some notes with you all. There's so much that is happening and different things that have really birthed this season for us too. And even the season that we're having over on Noom Vibe. And I would love to invite all of you here that are a part of our audience here on Podbean to join me every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's noon Central Standard Time over on the Noom Vibe app. And we're really delving into stress. And we've had 2 discussions thus far, and they have been so powerful. They have just been uh, such a beacon for so many. The first one was stress isn't your enemy, it's your messenger. Yesterday, we discussed about the silent burnout epidemic in high performers and achievers. And so you hear the value that is being given in both spaces. And you won't hear this discussion over on Whispers in a Bottle Noon Vibe Edition. And you won't hear the Noon Vibe Edition over here on Whispers in a Bottle Grown Talk Cocktail Fridays. So I'm so excited that we are celebrating. Woohoo! Get ready, everybody. We're celebrating our fifth anniversary of podcasting, September the 21st. Yes. And I'm so excited. So this is excitement. I can't even begin to tell you all how happy I am and can't begin to tell you the gratefulness I have for each and every one of you that you come in and you spend your life seconds with me and allow me to pour into you so freely. And I thank you. And we keep this a safe zone where there's always dignity and respect, and we value each other's opinions. And each discussion is built upon love and understanding, and even helping us to broaden and expand our mindset, even. So I'm excited to say that we are 5 years strong. I hope that we continue to build a beautiful community. I'd love for you all to don't forget to subscribe to our fabulous newsletter, because, this is the thing. I'm all about building community. And that's one thing the Whisperers community is. It's a family for me. It's something that is just wonderful that I get to pour into. But really having you all with me is such a wonderful thing. And just knowing that our community is strong, we bring such value to each other, is dynamic. But with the climate and everything that is going on, we really need to connect and really keep building out, because you never know. One day I may come in and we may not be able to have such dynamic discussions, but you're in that newsletter and I can still pour into you from there. So please make sure that you subscribe to the Whispers Exchange. There's always a live link in the description box. And you can also come over to Instagram. I keep telling you all, come over and join us. And if you'd like to book me as a guest on your show, or host an event, or even to be a guest speaker, please feel free to tap into my publicist. His name is Trey Bump, and you can reach him at info@whispersinabottlepodcast.com. Once again, that's info@whispersinabottlepodcast.com. And don't forget, we are also on Instagram, like I said, at Whispers in a Bottle _podcast. And you can even hear us now on Spotify and Apple. It's for the replays. So just to let you know, but come back here and join me live. I want you here live and direct, right here on our home network of Podbean. Well, with that being said, everyone, it's always great to be in our safe zone and to birth such amazing discussions. And don't forget to review and subscribe to our show and share it with someone who really needs to hear this, because you realize this discussion today was powerful. And there's someone out here that is stumbling or trying to find their way through the light of trying to correct these emotional ledgers or trying to balance these ledgers. Share the episode with them. Because as they say, sharing is caring, but when we know that we're helping others tap into a better mindset, is something powerful. So, with that being said, everyone, you have been listening to Whispers in a Bottle, Grown Talk Cocktail Fridays, a clear voice amongst the noise. We're live every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on our home network of Podbean. My name is Sonya. I'm a lifestyle counselor, fashion psychologist, naturopathic practitioner, but I'm always honored to say that I am your host. I hope you all have a beautiful weekend. Stay safe and don't forget to hydrate. All right, guys, take care.